Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Mina every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. I'm just waiting for Mayur to join us. So, meanwhile, some of the latest news is that Akshay Kumar has actually apologized for the Gutka ad. Again, that's a big drama. So he's saying that he will give all his money to some charitable cause. We all know where the charity lies and what sort of benefits actually suit them. So he's given a big tweet regarding this. You know. So meanwhile, I'm just waiting for Mayur. Let me just see. We're discussing a very interesting topic today. We're talking about negative emotions. And by negative emotions, we talk about, emotions like envy and hatred, which is so much prevalent in today's professional arena, where where people try to achieve some success, and you find that a lot of people are there to pull you down or to indulge in office politics, where without your even realizing it, you become the target. So this is an interesting topic, and I'm just waiting for Mayu. Just give me a minute, friends. So meanwhile, I'll just let me just before he joins me, let me just give you some more news. Uh, Vivek Agnihotri, he reacts after the Delhi files faces objection from the Maharashtra Sikh Association. Vivek Agnihotri reacted after Maharashtra Sikh Association stated that filmmakers should desist from disturbing the uneasy calm in society. Last week, the Kashmir Files director Vivek Agnihotri announced his next project, Delhi Files. However, the filmmaker has not confirmed the plot details, but there are reports saying that the film will be based on the anti-Sikh riots that happened in 1984. On Monday, days after Vivek announced the Delhi Files, the Maharashtra Sikh Association stated that the filmmakers should desist from disturbing the uneasy calm in society. According to PTI, in a press release, the Maharashtra Sikh Association said it expresses strong reservation against the exploitation and commercialization of unfortunate tragic chapters of human mankind, like Sikh riots by people in the name of creative expression and personal profiteering. While talking about the same, Vivek Agnihotri replied that he had a right to express himself. I have no idea which organization is this. I'm an Indian. I live in a sovereign state, which gives me full right to express myself in whichever manner I want. I will make what I need to make, what my conscience tells me to make. I'm not a servant to anybody's demands or organizations. I've not even announced what I'm making, why I'm making it. People are making assumptions, which they can keep making. But ultimately, it's only for the CBFC to decide what kind of film I make and if it should be allowed to release or not. The association, which calls itself a nodal body actively involved in the social, cultural, educational, sports, and religious activities in the state related to its close knit Sikh community, said Agnihotri, emboldened with the controversy and hype created by Kashmir Files, is intending to commercialize tragedy of human mankind like the 1984 riots. So, friends, just give me a second. Let me just check what's happening.
Hello, hi Meena.
Yeah, Mayur, waiting for you to join.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get in. I'm just trying to get in.
Okay. Sorry, friends, I'm just waiting. He said he'll join within a few minutes. So there's also, I thought, let me just give you one more piece of news, which is Kumar Vishwas warns the Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann, says person sitting in Delhi will betray you, both you and Punjab. A team of Punjab police personnel reached the house of poet and former AAP leader Kumar Vishwas to serve a notice upon him. Here on Wednesday, an FIR was registered against Vishwas under the IT Act for allegedly doctoring a video. The police team visited his house to ask him to join the investigation. In the run up to the assembly elections in Punjab earlier this year, Vishwas, without naming him, had said that the Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal wants to be the prime minister of an independent nation of Khalistan, accusing the AAP convener of having connections with separatists in Punjab. Talking to Twitter, Vishwas served a warning to Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann, saying, Punjab police team was at my doorstep early morning. I'm cautioning Mann, whom I inducted into the party myself, that the person sitting in Delhi will betray both you and Punjab one day. The country should remember my warning. Okay. So, friends, still Mayur's not joined, so I'm just waiting. So let me, till Mayur comes, let me just start talking about the topic. See, one of the best quotes that I've ever heard, and you can also interact with me while I speak, is about envy, is that I don't give anyone a reason to hate me. They create their own drama of pure negative emotions. So this is something, it's something that they feel and that they try to do, and this is something at times you don't even realize. So friends, I'll just leave the line open in case you'd like to join me. Okay, Mayur is coming. So yeah. Hi Mayur.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Oh shit! One second. One second.
Are you okay?
Hello.
Yeah, are you okay, Mayur?
You can hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Harar
Yeah,
Mahadev.
welcome, welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on. I'm.
Yeah. So what we were talking about is negative emotions, how they affect people, especially you talk about envy and hatred, especially in today's modern world where professional jealousy can either pull you down or even destroy you.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. So it's this is one thing that many people contend, especially people are not used to this kind of office politics. So Mayur, you would be the best person to tell us more about this.
Sure. Um,
Yeah.
can I begin, Meena?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, to all the people who are watching me, I want to, with my folded hands, say sorry because the internet really plays here. I mean, it's almost paranormal. Seriously, I mean, I was trying to get in, and finally I'm here. So, to all the viewers who are watching, my apologies for the late coming in. To your question, I would say the following. Firstly, Meena, can you hear my voice clearly, or
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
there
Your
some
voice is clear.
disturbance? Okay.
Yes.
Um, when you spoke to me about envy, when we were talking about which topic, and you messaged me, and let me be very honest with you, the thing that came to my mind, Meena, is Sushant Singh Rajput, and what came to my mind is Kedarnath. you know, and I felt from my heart that there were a lot of people who were very envious, and the envy, got evolved into or transformed into jealousy. And people didn't like him because of the way he was. He was so genuine. He was so natural. And I'm just bringing him because he's one example that struck me to my heart because, unfortunately, he's no more. So whether it's corporate or it's a movie or it's something to do with any profession, I feel. I've always felt that it's important to be aware of people who could cross lines and convert envy into jealousy. And it's happened to me as well, Meena, that um, some people are not able to handle the reality that a person who they've seen as a normal guy becomes a superstar, whether it's Sushant or it's in the fraternity of training and development, it's Mayur, or it's in in something to do with music. They're not able to handle it, and that for me is when Meena, envy uh, becomes negative. It turns into something very. It turns into something which we talk about where there is negative energy.
Okay, we've just lost him, so let's
It's
just wait for him.
you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear you.
so that's when Meena, I feel that if a person at the receiving end is not able to you know because the person who's receiving jealousy and envy is not aware of it, it affects it affects. I'm sorry, but I don't talk about superstars and stuff in I only talk about normal people like us. But I notice when Sushant Singh Rajput unfortunately passed on. I had seen some of his movies. I've seen him as a person, and I felt that that's the kind of a personality where people are going to really be very, very envious of him because he had that kind of a aura where he did good movies. He was very affectionate to people. Um, he never really discriminated between high and low, but some people didn't like that. And for me, when I'm talking to you, Meena, about envy, I believe that the nicest people are the most prone or the most, unfortunately, the most um, क्या कहते हैं
Susceptible.
उसको? Susceptible. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Susceptible to envy.
Mm.
So I'm not saying that we should not be nice, but that's where I feel that envy turns into jealousy, and jealousy or envy can be harmful to such people.
Yeah.
I have a guru, you have a guru. We are protected because we know that when we feel some vibrations which are negative, we pray to our guru and we get protected. But some of these people, even Sushant Singh Rajput, he didn't have a guru, right? And he didn't know what was happening. He had a girlfriend. I'm sorry, but he had somebody who should have helped him to feel more stronger, but he was getting more weaker. And I think that's what I want to put a comma to, Meena, that sometimes envy and jealousy, there's a very thin line, Meena. And
Let me tell you something, Mayur.
sure,
See,
sure,
I also see in the work atmosphere in India, I didn't face much problem, but when I went to Dubai and I joined one of the top newspaper, there, that I noticed that see, there was a pattern. Okay, the pattern was that see, it applied to all of us. So the people who were appointed at that time were all many of them were mediocres, so
yeah,
and they were very comfortable in their jobs and very well what you say entrenched in their job,
yep,
and
yep,
it and then later when people who were already professionals in their field started coming into the newspaper a company, then what happened was there was a sense of insecurity that was coming amongst the people who had no qualifications, who had only the experience that this paper had given them, and also the confidence that nobody can kick them out.
mm,
You see, so when professionals came in, and that's when I got my first taste of this feeling of envy, and from quarters that you never expected, and
yeah,
realize that, see how they could belittle you, how they could sabotage your work, you know and how they could talk behind your back and make sure that, see, the main editor, would suspect that, see, is something was wrong with you, your capabilities. So this was something that I experienced in Dubai. And it's not only me. There are many people in Dubai who were professionals and who got into different jobs, and they said that, see, this was the same pattern everywhere, because at that time Dubai was not a very sort of a job friendly place, the UAE. So anybody who sailed across would, act as experts, especially people from UK. They would come and they would say that they're editors and things like that, which, while they
sure,
would, would have had some different jobs in UK. So it was that system we were fighting. And I remember,
sure.
I mean, sometimes I used to feel very, very troubled coming back home, because at that time, my husband was in Qatar, and so I had to fight these battles alone. I had nobody to sort of discuss it with, and that was a very difficult thing, because, see, in such places, especially in office, you're not able to trust everybody, you know so you can't talk your heart out to anybody. So these things
True.
affect you, especially when you're young, and you think that you're on a path, but there's so many impediments come in
Sure,
place. So
sure,
this was
sure,
not only my experience for you, it was many people who
sure,
came to the Gulf
sure.
with qualifications, and
Absolutely,
these people were the ones who were torn apart.
absolutely, absolutely. Can I just add something to what you said,
Please,
Meena?
please, yeah, yeah, please.
Um, I might say something which, if people are going to see who know me in my family, they'll be a little shocked. But I want to say something to you that um, when somebody who is known to you, I'm not talking about you personally, Meena, I'm talking about Chandni. I've had a situation where I was discarded. I was discarded, okay, like thrown away. Studies wise, okay, mediocre, and that's okay because that's how I was. I was more into tabla. I learned for 12 years and etc. etc. I did karate, but you know how it was those times. I mean, it was like studies, and Meena, what happened is I remember that when my guru came into my life and I evolved, I started learning stotrams. I started chanting stotrams for my own self. The same people who had discarded me, my own uncle and aunt, some distant ones, they couldn't take the shock. I mean, they were shocked. They couldn't take it that this guy, who they had sort of proclaimed to be a discarded person, a rolling stone who didn't stick to any job, is a trainer who's getting great feedback because they would hear it from others. And you'll be surprised to know that some of them had stopped talking to me. They would, they wouldn't even talk to me, uh, just because they didn't know what to say because they were not able to handle the envy. Today's session, Lena, is about envy. They were not able to because the envy turned into jealousy. Keep my son, who used to come third and fourth in the class or the second, and Mayur Kalbag, who didn't do much. And today he's being talked about because Swamiji has come into his life because of past life. They were not able to handle it. But I'll tell you one thing is I had been told by my guru as well that there will be a lot of nazar to you, and therefore you have to do more japa. So to all the people who are watching, uh, Meena, this is not about me as such. In terms of my example, is only to drive the point, Meena, that may it be me or more importantly is, for example, somebody who's in the, the, the what should I say? Somebody who's famous, like a tabla player or somebody who's an actor or somebody who's a dancer, somebody who's a model. They will be in the public eye. And to all the people who are watching this, Meena, who want to yearn for being famous, there's nothing wrong with it. But I think I only want to say that there will be people who will be envious. There will be people who will, behind your back will make statements which you may hear of later, and it should affect you. For me, it didn't affect me because I had my guru who was there behind me. Meena, there was protection, there was a kavach. In fact, I was told, recite the Shiva kavach. You need to, otherwise, the nazar will hit you. The nazar is envy or jealousy. So I feel that even in the case of Sushant as well, and I'm sorry I'm bringing him up because I don't talk much about him because he's at a different level now, at a different planet. He's happy. But some people could not deal with the way he was. He was somebody who would look through the telescope to stars and who would think beyond. And some of these people couldn't relate that. He was the person who stood up for the fact that somebody from his team was harassed. And he said, no, I'm going to take it up. And that's what caused whatever happened. Right, Nina? But it all, I believe, it came out of a lot of envy. कि ये बच्चा कहाँ से आया बिहार से आया कहाँ पहुंच गया because some of his movies were doing super. He was one of the most good looking persons in the film industry. I hope you know that, Meena. He was one of the most handsome guys. I cried when I heard about it. I cried because I was angry. Why did you? And that's my fault. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but it hurt me. But it was all, I believe, came out of envy. A lot of envy. He, ये कैसा कर सकता है? How is he able to do that? But even for us, Meena, at our level that we are, I mean, we're not low or high, but we're doing our own stuff. There will be people who will not be happy with our success. And you know, Meena, what I'm talking about. Some people will be not happy that you're doing something that's going to be influencing people in their life. And how do we? So what am I doing here right now, Meena? Is sharing something, which is what my guru told me is: are you doing your japa? Are you doing your sadhana? Your stotras. Because if you don't do that, you are opening up yourself to other people. Letting their envy affect you too much. This is what I want to say. One, Amina. The other thing I feel is that um, a lot of times I feel we ourselves feel envious of others. I'm sorry, but I'm being very honest. Like if somebody in my group is doing very well, there is a natural tendency, Meena, for me to be jealous. I'm not going to be dishonest with you, Meena. I will feel because it's a natural tendency. But if my jealousy converts itself into something which is harmful to the person, when I'm angry that uska acha kaise ho raha hai? How is he doing so well? That is where I believe spirituality helps. So, Meena, I feel that if you practice something to do with, you know, recitation of chantings, repetition of mantras, uh, deep breathing, omkar chanting, it helps us to deal with the human tendency of feeling jealous about others. Meena, this session is not about others feeling envious of us. It's about us being okay to understand that it's okay if we feel envious about others. Let's be honest. I will
That's what,
feel.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what Chandrika is saying. I was envious of my younger cousin sister. She was pretty and danced well and was a favorite, and I was ignored by relatives as I was shy and didn't come forward to sing or dance. So this is
Yeah.
something that Karthik has also said, that he was envious of his cousins, who spoke English well. And let me just take that out. I was envious of my cousins only because they spoke English very well. Later, after many years, when I spoke the language very well, I looked back and felt silly about it. And there's
True.
also one very interesting comment from Karthik says that my own general manager was jealous of me and even said it openly, only because I was looking much younger to him, though he was only 2 years older than me. It affected him so much that he stopped my bonus once.
Karthik, sometimes it's
And
good to be
viewers,
looking a little
you're
older.
viewers, you're welcome to join us. I've given you the link, so in case you'd like to join, please do.
Right. But you know what, Meena? I mean, this is honestly a little, it tickled my funny bone because, I mean, come on, give me a break. You know what? This guy needs to apply some ointment on his face, I guess. But it just shocks me, Meena, that there are some people who think that much. Really, Meena? Is it true that there are SAP log here? There are some people who really who connect the way they look to bonuses. Oh my
Yeah.
God, you know. But I can tell you that there are people like that because there's an absence to some of these people, the absence of spirituality. They're not able to connect. They look at the physical disposition of a Karthik or of a Mayur, of a Meena. Or I just think that, Meena, what I think is what we can't control, we can't control. But can we control how we respond to their envy? For me, Meena, that's the crux of today's session is, can we control how we get or not get affected by somebody else's envy?
Yeah.
Because somebody getting envious of us because we're doing so well, or we look good, like Karthik was saying, we looks younger. Can we control that? I think we can't control the way the person is going to react to that, but we can control how we will react to his or her reaction. And I think that's where spending some time in connecting with the higher force makes a big difference. Mental strength is very important, Meena. You know, we talk about Kavacha, Shiva Kavacham, Om Shiva Kavacham, Om Asya Shri Shiva Kavacha Stotra Mahamantrasya Brahma Rishihi Anushtup Chandaha Shri Sada Shivardro Devata Om Shri Hring Hring Bijam Hring Shakti. So that goes on. If a person is able to recite and awaken bija aksharas, Meena, I do feel uh, 99% of the envy will not even come close to you. I know it was unplanned. I didn't plan to, but I wanted to recite this because this is an example. My guru used to say, "Are you doing a Shiva Kavach? Are you doing a Shiva Kavach?" I would say yes. Okay, good. Are you doing Durga Chandrakala Stihi? Like, no. I said, okay, you should because the more you get known, na, Meena, if in case of Karthik, right, he's doing his work, people are watching. Some people don't like it, but some people will say, "Good for you." Good for you, absorb. Not good for you, somebody saying something which is envious, have this, create the aura, the strength to not allow that to come and affect you. I think
Yeah.
somebody's joining us.
Yeah. Welcome, Anuradha.
Yeah, I hope you're able to hear me this time, Meena.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, good evening, Mayur.
Good evening.
One of your sessions I try not to miss. And in fact, the whole family knows if I'm tied up between 8 to 9, Mayur must be on Meena
That's sweet.
show. So yeah, a wonderful, all your topics, of course. And I particularly like the Har Har Mahadev in the beginning. I think, that just kind of is the icing on the cake. So I have a lot of interest in this field because I'm an educator, and a part of, I'm also a trained mentor counselor. So we see all this, and as you very rightly said, it's only when we identify these gray emotions within each one of us can we understand it and then try to overcome it. So just yeah. It's easy to, I think it's always the darker, I mean, you always need darkness to highlight light, right? So it's, when you see darkness, I read somewhere that there is nothing called darkness, it's only the absence of light. So shine a light and the darkness vanishes. So often I found when I've had to uh, when I've faced these darker emotions in oneself, we're all shades of black and white and gray. None of us is completely white or black. I think understanding it, putting a name to it, like understanding, that I'm envious of that person, or I'm envious, maybe I'm not envious of the person per se, but I'm envious of the fact that he's achieved the success that I felt I should have got. Being able to put a name to it, understand it, rather than just sweeping it under the carpet and pretending that, no, I'm good with everything. I think it just makes me a lot more human. and a lot more balanced. My family will argue with you about the balanced bit of it. Um, but also, and then in a position to be able to guide others through it, that it's okay to feel these emotions. And, just having a negative emotion doesn't make you necessarily a bad person. It's what you do with that negative
Yeah,
emotion,
exactly.
I think,
That's the main thing. Yeah.
yeah,
If
that's
you
what I
can treat
wanted
it
to
in a
share.
positive way.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mayur?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, Meena, why don't you just start off and then I'll join in because
yeah.
you just
So,
spoke something
yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah. So what I meant was that, see, jealousy is good if taken in the right sense. Because see, if I have someone who is equally good as me or even better, see, I should aspire to become better than her or as good as her. So if I
yeah,
use that emotion correctly without harming her, but only trying to mold myself into something that I want to be and use her as a model, that can act in a positive manner. But something, Mayur, what I've learned is, and Anu and Savitri, what I've learned is that, see, it's with maturity. And as Mayur very well says, when you have a guru as well, it's with maturity and advice that you start, speaking in this manner in which, Mayur or Anuradha or others are speaking. Because, see, it's taken us a long time. When we were young, there were many things that troubled us, whether it's it's looks or whatever, whether it's intelligence. So jealousy was there in all of us. So it's not something that we can dismiss. It could be in us, and you could be broad-minded enough to push it away, but you could also be obsessed in the fact that, see, you did some harm to the person who made you feel that way. So it both ways, you can use it in a negative or a positive way, Mayur.
Can I just add something and
Yeah.
respond to Anuradha as well?
Yes.
Okay. Anuradha, hi, how are you? Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har. I do a little bit of personal coaching with the
Okay,
blessings of my guru, and I have a friend called Gaurav Kulkarni, and
okay,
you know, I was telling him because he's a very nice person, and he's sometimes being too nice is a problem. So I
it
said,
is.
so I taught him how to say Har Har Mahadev. So he's like Har Har Mahadev. I said that doesn't work. He said Har Har Mahadev,
Yes,
and
I
he
need to learn
looks
that.
up.
Yeah,
So it has to come from here. I've learned that from my guru. So
yeah,
Har Har Mahadev to you, Anuradha. To Meena and to all of you, let me say something just to add value to what Meena said as well. Jealousy is an English word which was so tough to even bloody spell it out here. Jea whatever. I still can't. It's an English word. Love is an English word. God is an English word. We have created it. So it's okay. Fine. We can have another session in on that. So coming to my understanding from my guru is this, that there will be instances or situations where I or you or Meena, have a guru and we are practicing some things. We will feel tempted to feel envious about somebody else's happening. Happening is great, good, or amazing, but it will. My thing perspective is if you're able to let it be at what it is, which is envy, maybe say wow, and convert that as a fuel for our own growth. If you're able to do that, it's good. Otherwise, if we're not able to spiritually convert our envy into a fuel for our own growth, it becomes jealousy. And I believe that although it's an English word, jealousy is a word which the connotation of that is we are not happy with the other person's success. We are not happy with the fact that like I'm jealous of my friend's son who scored 90% in mathematics because my son scored only 70%. I'm not happy, but my unhappiness is the jealousy. But envy is where I say, let's find out why was he able to score 90 and why were you able to score only 70? Where you need to improve yourself, work on that now. Meet this guy and learn something. That is envy. So if so, how I feel, Anuradha, this happens is when there is a guru, there is somebody or some entity or your own soul who tells you that, hey, you're feeling shit about the fact that somebody's doing very well. But what are you doing about it? Are you translating that for your own growth? If you're not, if you're just unhappy because somebody's doing very well, I believe, unfortunately, that is where the spiritual there's a leakage of spirituality in my terms, which is why I always feel as a human being, I need to have my guru and the remembrance of my guru's teachings, because that makes me understand the difference between uh, being envious so much that it helps me to be better, and being jealous where it makes me sadistic, it makes me negative, it makes me angry that how in the heaven did he score so much, but my own son or me, we didn't do well. So that's how I connect all this, Anuradha. Um,
Yeah,
I also believe, Anuradha, just sorry to sort of interject. I just want to say one thing is it is nice to be important, but it is more important to be nice.
absolutely.
It is nice to be important because that is like I'm important. People like, oh, Mr. Kalbag, you're doing so well, sir. You're wonderful, sir. I feel very important. But it is more important to be nice. And for me, awakens intense humility. There is no space for envy. Forget about jealousy. So the only solution I believe personally, since this is a session where I can speak my heart out, is, Meena, if I am humble towards somebody who is 20 times, 30 times better than me, I'm humble. And I say, can you help me to be also to some level to your extent? Please. I believe that is where I will also change. It starts with humility. Humility is that which will help you or me to not let envy evolve or devolve into jealousy. If I'm empathetic, I think people will respect me for that. Like I empathize. I'm humble. I understand. I'm not good. I need to be better. I'm
Yeah,
jealous that Zakir Hussain is amazing tabla player. But can I be Zakir Hussain? Or can I be jealous? Well, I can be jealous if I'm stupid, but if I'm spiritual, I'll pray that can I please get an opportunity to meet Zakir Hussain and learn something from him?
yeah.
That is humility. That's where I put a very
Yeah.
big comma to my communication.
I think that's
Savitri,
very well said. Nina, before Savitri, I know she's waiting. I'll just quickly add that
please.
because I work with young adults and children, I feel it's very important that as parents, as elders who guide youngsters, we need to help them understand these emotions because, and also we need to be very, careful about what we're saying. If you're constantly praising a child
Absolutely.
in another family, for always getting good marks, even if now parents have become a lot more conscious and savvy, so they may not be berating their own child. But if my child hears me constantly, oh, he got 100, he got into engineering, he's done very well in sports, somewhere the child picks up that the child is not good enough. So I think it's very important as parents what we say, how we say it, and also to guide our children that yeah, you might be jealous, but let's talk about this. Because I found that wherever it's not been spoken about and the child has suppressed it, it comes out in all kinds of very, very disturbing behavior,
Absolutely.
sometimes even
Absolutely.
self harm. And that's really sad. That's all that I wanted to share.
A lot of youngsters. I'm sorry, Meena, but a lot of young people, even when years back, I've heard they wanted to commit suicide only because the pressure, and that all stems out of envy and jealousy. कि वो इतना अच्छा कर रहा है, how come you got so less? I know of a person in my uncle's you know uh, area where he lived. The boy, unfortunately, his life on the assumption that he's not done well, on the assumption, only to later get the result that he did good, but he was not there. And so I completely endorse what you said, and if we could understand the role of envy and slowly get more mature about jealousy.
Yes, you-
My parents never ever uh, said anything that was, that smelt of jealousy. My dad was chilled out. He was like, you wanted, he was very clear. You can't be an engineer. You are a dude. You do tabla. You can't study. Do tabla. Because he noticed that I play, I मुझे बजाने का अच्छा लगता है, बजाओ बजाओ. So he's like, he gave, I used to play on those empty drums where sweets used to be kept. I used to play. So he put me. I learned for
lovely,
12 years. But
lovely.
I'm happy that I had a dad, because mom was chilled out. She was like in her own zone. My dad was the one who was saying that kya karna hai, and he's a VJTI, Emmy from VJTI, Emmy. But he knew, and he never let he was never jealous. I think that's the point. His parents, Meena, I think it's beautiful this session is happening. Parents, like I have Aryan who's 15, Malvika is 12. You know what? I'm chilled out to what you want to do. I just say to them, be happy. You want to have biryani? What do you want to have? For me, that's more important, because there will be pressures, there will be studies, there will be, envy. But I, as a parent, I think I should be able to be mature enough to not my envy or jealousy come and creep into their life. I only say to my wife or to my close ones that as long as my kids are happy and they're following what they're supposed to do, like get some good marks that they pass, I'm okay. I think that's where I come from, Meena and Anuradha. Is jealousy, if it crosses a line, it can affect the morale of a child. That's what he said. I totally agree with
Yeah.
Uh,
you.
would you
Srinivas,
like to join us, Savitri?
Yeah, hi. Hi,
hello.
Mayur. Hi, Meena. And
Welcome.
hi, Anu.
Hi,
Lovely
Savitri.
session. Har Har Mahadev, Mayur ji.
Har Har Mahadev.
Yes. Okay, I just wanted to ask you. See, back in my 20s, the first job I had worked, some accounts, and I had got an immediate senior. She was not actually a senior, just 2, 3 years South Indian. She used to hate me for no reason. She used to never tell me exactly what is the work, and I never had even from my childhood, any complex talking. So I used to make lot of blunders, and right in front of the boss, I used to look like a complete idiot. And I used to fight with her those days, left and right. Later, I mean, I was just in my 20s, the first job, 22, 23. I used to get mad because I had got that job through my dad. I was just going as a trainee. But this girl, later I came to know she was helping her family, which was not the case. Maybe because of that, but I literally had a big time. Is this also something to do with karma? Now I realize for no reason she used to hate me. Like she used to never talk.
So what's your
She'll never
question?
tell me what. The question
That's
is when you meet this
okay.
kind of
Maybe there was a
people,
reason.
yeah, that's what I wanted to. Maybe something somewhere, for no
Yeah.
reason, just attacking in the sense, never giving you the right solution, never telling you what is your job scenario, and you make the first job. Just imagine you are out of the college. So later today, I realize I bless her wherever she is, but those days I used to get so mad and angry. So I wondered, if this all has to do something with your previous karma? Could you give us a
Not
little bit?
okay. I'll just come. I'll have a quick response to this, and maybe I'll be looking forward to Meena and Anuradha to add value to uh, what you want to add on. So I just want to say this to you. You can't, you can't predict or you can't assume reasons for somebody's hatred or repulsion for you, uh, because envy, jealousy are typically the culprits for somebody to feel, um, what should I say? For somebody to feel dissent and what should I say, repulsion or dislike for you. my thing is this: that had could you ever understand from your own point what could have been the reason why that person disliked you or hated you or behaved in a particular way? Is a question you have to ask yourself. Now, this is something that happened a long time back. But I would say that if I'm working in a company, in a department, and if somebody is showing a lot of disrespect to me, hatred to me, the first thing is, do I deserve that? Have I done something? So introspection and self-analysis, I believe personally, makes a big difference, because you have to ask yourself, if you're going to be not doing that and falling a victim to somebody else's behavior, or somebody not liking you, you are going to be puppeted by that person, and that is not right. So, are you self-assured who you are? Are you clear about who you are? What are your strengths? Why do you have any weaknesses? Do you think there are certain reasons why some people don't like you? This reality check, I feel, Meena and Anuradha and all of you, makes a big difference. Now, this is not what you have to tell the world, yeah. Like when I close my eyes, I'm doing japa, and somebody I remember said something like, "You are an idiot. You can't do anything. You're a dumb person." Do I let that affect my personality, or do I analyze it and realize that that person probably said it, but actually I'm not like that? So I
No,
think
no,
self-analysis makes a big difference. Just not
yeah,
to
I
you,
understand. See, in your 35, 30, but not, I don't think that kind of wisdom you get at 22, 23. No, even you can't expect our kids to do that.
sure.
Today, yes, I don't care. I mean, at that time when you're in the right age, it's very difficult. So, but you do have a point. Yes, absolutely. But I think in that time, at that age, when you're just 20, 22, 20, and see, today the kids are very aware because of social things. Those days back in, this was in 90s, we were very naive. So
Well,
this is
you
the
you I don't know about your life, but I can tell you one thing. I'm very very self-assured, Miss N.R. Srinivasan, that
Savitri,
I would,
Savitri.
Savitri, that my son and my daughter and many, many, many hundreds of people in my community are inspired by Swami Satyojata Shankarashram. Okay, Savitri.
Okay,
So, so
okay.
they listen to my guru's pravachans, they listen to my guru's ashirvachans. Um, I am
Is
there
he your
as
guru?
a, can I, yeah, can I complete what I'm saying? That he is my, he is not just my guru, he is my life, he is my everything.
Oh,
So yeah, I met him in some previous lives. So just in this life, that he is here as my guru. But what I'm saying is that you said that at that age, how will that person at 2022 be able to understand this? Well, if that person is 15, 14, 13, in today's world, with the exposure to Swami Satyajat Shankarasham in my case, or Art of Living, or any entity who's enlightened. So what I'm saying to all of you is, are you taking any efforts to expose your kids to that which has, to that entity or those entities who emanate positive vibrations? Do you, Savitri, practice omkar vibrations? Do you practice breathing techniques? Do you do any form of yoga techniques? Do you do any form of meditation? Have you been to Kedarnath or any place? So not only to you, anybody, I'm saying, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're, if a person is not doing that, then there will be a lot of lovely opportunities for youngsters to get affected like you were at that age. Even I would have been, because I didn't have a guru when I was 21, 22, Savitri. But the moment the guru comes, or if the parents guide you in that direction, it definitely influences the youngster to be more mature. Spirituality is maturity, Savitri. As a friend, I'm saying to
Yeah.
you, spirituality is not, meditating at 3 o'clock in the morning and
Yes, yes.
levitating above the ground. It's about maturity. It's about understanding that there is an entity who's, who's beyond what we think, and learning from pravachans. How many of us read the Bhagavad Gita, for example? How many of us read the Viveka Chudamani, for example? How many of us really make notes from uh, Sri Ravi Shankar's pravachans as an example. How many of us go on YouTube and listen, understand, make notes? So I always feel, to all of you, and I'm not speaking like some great guy. I'm just saying that even for my son and my daughter, I always believe that slowly and steadily talking about spirituality, giving them the slowly making them understand, the spiritual maturity to understand people. If somebody shouts at you, don't shout back. Understand. That helps a lot, Savitri. And therefore, if somebody tomorrow will hate my daughter because she's beautiful, my daughter Malvika is one of the most beautiful people in my life. I created her with Meghna. But if somebody says something bad about her, I want her to be strong enough to say that, deflect it, because my guru knows who I am. Meena, if somebody says some shit about me, in my mind I say, my guru knows. My guru knows, that's enough. After that, whatever happens, happens. My Swamiji knows who I am, that matters the most. So, same thing with you, Savitri. Sorry for my elongated and
No,
stretched
no, it
response,
was absolutely wonderful.
but
But yes,
but
I do talk to my son. I guide him in and out, telling because what all I
not enough.
have,
Not
experience.
enough. Not you. Not you.
Not
It's about
enough.
the
Yes,
guru.
certainly, you
Not
are
enough.
right. Yeah, you're right.
You
Yeah,
are
yeah,
just a human. I'm sorry, but you're a human like me.
absolutely, you're
Let's face the fact,
yeah.
there are
Yes,
beings
yes.
in the form of humans. Start,
Mm.
from tomorrow onwards. Listen to Ashirvachans of enlightened
Yeah,
beings.
listen, but how do we make the kids listen that? It's very
Don't
difficult.
listen. Don't. No. 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 Are you listening? That's the question, Savitri.
I do,
Are
I do.
you?
I
Have you
listen
made
at
notes?
least in a day, one or two, not notes. I listen to many
Then
pravachan as and when, I get.
that's the
But
problem.
when I
When
tell
we
my
listen to
son, no, he doesn't sit.
No,
He
I'm
tells
sorry. I'm
me
just being
later,
very,
later.
be very free. Don't talk to your son or your daughter about things before you have imbibed that. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm being very honest here.
No, no,
When
it's
my
very
guru
true.
was listening to my guru's guru, Swami Ishwarananda Giri Maharaj, I was shocked at that point of time. I was a youngster. But my guru was sitting with a pen and pad, Meena, and making notes. My guru is the Mathadipati of my community. He is listening and making notes. And I'm sitting there only watching my guru's guru just speaking something, and I'm not having any pad, pen, nothing. It was a reality check. Because if you don't make notes from what the enlightened being says, you will not imbibe that. And like Savitri very correctly said, that she needs to talk to the kids. But when you talk to the kids, you need to have something to say. These are the points. My parents didn't do that because they came. My guru came later in my life. But I observed because of my past life connections. Maybe I observed कि my Swamiji is making notes here, और मैं वहाँ पे बैठा हूँ कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ. I'm like sitting like a egotistical person watching my guru's guru give a sermon, but my guru's making notes. And that's the day when I start making my notes as well. So I don't know where this is heading, Meena and
Yeah,
Anuradha,
but
who I can see. But I
taking
just
another
want to share
point.
these things. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
another point is, Mayur, getting back
Yeah,
to what we discussed earlier, is
sure.
that see, envy in the professional front can also lead to a lot of other things. For example, bullying. Bullying comes out of that. See, people who are sitting in big positions actually become bullies when
Yeah,
they see people who are very capable and younger to them, you know, come come in and start making a difference in the
yeah,
company or in the establishment that you are. And that's when, completely tearing you apart starts, you know. And if you're not a strong person, then what happens is you start actually thinking that some of the aspects that they say could be true, and that you could be that terrible person that they want you to be.
sure.
Anu,
True.
yeah.
Very well said, Meena. And yes, Mayur, I agree with you completely. As parents, I do feel that because my husband and I, you know, be, I won't say became, or we began to really understand spirituality in the deeper sense, not when our children were much younger. That's our fault, really. We began to understand it more and understand it when I say understand, I mean be able to apply it to our daily lives and be able to listen, as you said, to Guru speaking. What I found is there's a very famous quote that says, "Don't worry that your child doesn't listen to a word that you say, but do worry that he watches you every minute of every day." So often when we listen, we just make sure we're somewhere. Now, of course, my boys are older, but it's now that they need it because they're out in the work world, right? And we ensure that it's kept at just enough volume for one of them to pick it up, and we find that they're just listening to it. And more than that, when we face tough situations, they're actually looking at how we are facing them. And when my son asked me, "But mom, didn't you feel bad and didn't you want to hit back?" And I tell him, "Yeah, I did, but then and somewhere that sinks in, so it's actually the role modeling, for want of a better word. And at least I found that a lot of my friends also with younger children, along with the academics and all the other hoopla that we keep sharing with them and pushing them towards, I think my job as a parent is done if I really teach them about these soft life skills, for want of a better word, understanding oneself, understanding other people, walking this world with more empathy and more authenticity. And when I teach yoga, or when I teach, I work with special needs students, and when I teach yoga and meditation and all of that, I always tell my students, and I tell my friends whom I learn alongside. I said it's okay to sit for 1 hour in meditation in the morning and be spiritual, but it's what I do for the 23 hours of the remaining 23 hours that really matters. So when I teach my children also, I said, that moment in the exam hall when you've seen the paper and you've hit full panic because you can't, or I tell a friend that that moment when you're facing a very difficult situation at work or at home where you really pushed against a wall, is when you need that deep breath, is that's when you need your spirituality, and that's where you're tested. It's very, the only zen that you'll find at the top of the mountain is the zen that you take with you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like, so I think as parents, our biggest work today is to no, they say that don't let your children get be prepared to face a cruel world. It's our job as parents to make them into people who will make this world less cruel. So I think these are the most, as an educator, let me tell you, nothing matters. I mean, we teach children, we are not teaching curriculum, we are not teaching academics. So in our school, I'm very fortunate to work for a top class organization that tells us, put aside your academics, put aside your curriculum, deal with real life issues. So I think that's really what I'd like to share for any young parents, especially. No, I'm not a perfect parent, and I'm telling you, I've been there, done that, I've erred, and I'm only sharing this because really put that academics aside, put those marks aside, and just connect with your children. As don't lose your child's childhood to a report card. That's an
Yeah.
earnest plea from an experienced educator and a parent.
In fact, this comment from Karthik, see, parents should tell their children to fight the bully's head on, say, go punch him. And there for you, how many parents do that? Now, here, Karthik, on a lighter note, I'd like to tell you. See, when I was in Dubai and I was teaching in a school, and my son also joined me from India. And he was a very protected child with two grandmothers fussing over him. He had absolutely no idea the kind of boys in Dubai. So I was scared. I was petrified of how he's going to face it. And since I was a teacher in the same school, I could keep an eye on him very silently, you know. And it happened. The same thing, Karthik, that you said. There was this young Sadaji and a Pakistani student who used to bully Jaidev, my son. And he just couldn't understand why he was being bullied, just because he was timid or whatever. And he came back. One day he came back. He had tears in his eyes, but he was too, proud to tell me the reason. And I said, "Did someone bully you?" So he said, "Yes." And then he explained the whole thing. So I said, "Okay, now what you do is you go back, okay, and when they come to you, hit them nicely, do whatever you can to defend yourself, okay, and when you come back, I will change your school." because you don't need to be in the school. If you feel, the boys are tough and this thing, we change you to a school that's more civil, you know. So this was one of the good schools, but still, the kids were quite rough. And then, so the next day, he went to school and they came to bully him, and he did exactly that. So what he did was he hit them, and they tore his pocket, and he came back, absolutely crushed. And at the same time, he looked at me and he said, it was as, was that okay? And I said, you did it. Very good. Now we're going to change your school. And then luckily, Mayur and Anu and Savitri, I found a school that's much more civilized. I didn't like the school that I was teaching either. So I put him in that, and then he grew the normal way. So Karthik, parents do that. So don't think parents do not look after their children's needs. They
Yeah.
do that, because if you don't take care of these bullies, I complained to the teachers, who were in his class, but they couldn't do a thing. I mean, they were not used to it. In the Gulf, it's a different thing. You know,
Yeah.
the professionalism or whatever you call it is very much lacking. You know, so this is one thing I did. So sorry, Mayur
Yeah.
and Anu and Savitri, I diverted.
No,
No, no,
Meena,
that's
here
good.
I would, yeah, Meena, but see, your case excellent. Like you were close to your son, I mean, you could talk, but there are many parents who
Yeah,
don't, I mean, the kids don't confide. Once the kids come home, the papa is somewhere, the mother is somewhere. See, that's where the problem, then they get complex. You should, at least I tell you, till 8th or 9th standard, you should talk to your girl or a boy every day. I used to do that. And see, because all child are not same. My son also, when he was bullied, he was not physically so just to go and hit. But thankfully, we had good teachers. I used to go and, he used to tell me, so I used to see that I tell the teachers, and they used to take care of it. So that's what, not all parents are like that. Then over a period, the child goes down doomed, and it becomes too late. No, that's it. Because now all this, in nowadays, it was not like that. It was more simple life. So that's a very nice point you put on.
Mayur.
No,
Yeah, I think I'll just move on. Let somebody come. Now I'll be there backstage. And
Okay.
Mayur, Har Mahadev. Your mic is working. All the time your mic goes off.
yeah, I know this
God
time
bless.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, no,
God bless
um,
you.
yeah, thank you so much. For a change, the paranormal activities are not bullying me.
Right.
So I'm able to, yeah,
Yeah, you're
uh,
blessed. You're blessed, Mayur, actually.
I don't
We
know.
are
I
just
don't
common. You are, a blessed divine. So we just like, common people. Am Janta.
know. I have no idea.
Okay.
I will put whatever you say at my guru's feet only because I don't understand what you say, but
Yeah.
it's coming from your heart. But it's Meena who creates, it's so sweet of Meena that she messages me. So, are you on? And I'm wondering, अरे topic कौन सा है भाई? कौन सा ले लूं?
I thought so. Now the secrets come out.
Because when you can you no, but listen, I told you, Meena,
Ah,
that and to all the viewers, I will never um, put up a topic just for the sake of it because I can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very happy with my paintings. I did 2 paintings yesterday. I love to write poetry. But when Meena, you send a message, okay, what's the message? What's the topic? And then you send the message today about envy. I said, thank God, good topic, because I'm not
Yeah.
that creative. So, the other topic, Meena, I was exploring is death. And I'm sorry, but I'm very beautifully intoxicated with paranormal. And I believe my dad's here right now. And though I'm crazy, but I believe in that. And what is death? Is it really that much of a negative thing, or it's firstly it's not. It's not. But then it's tough to put it out, in a typical way because people will be like, Mayur is crazy. What is he talking about? Hopefully, in the next session, we can explore something on
Yeah. Yeah, lovely topic.
is yeah. Death
Yeah.
actually is alive. Death is alive. So that's how I look
I
at it.
think you did give
Uh,
me a hint, but I didn't take
yeah,
it.
no, but that's okay because this was a better topic for now.
No,
Uh,
before
See,
I,
before yeah.
we wouldn't
I,
be
I,
alive today had we not died, died one day. नहीं तो आज
yeah,
कैसे रहते?
I know, I know, I know, I know.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
you talk, you have a conversation with your old clothes, and they'll tell you what that
Mm,
is. That's how I
yeah.
look at
Okay,
it.
Oh
so
God.
I just want,
Wow,
yeah,
that's really
That's
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
I just want
Okay,
to
because
tell
I'll
you this,
take a leave
this,
from.
yeah,
I'll be back there.
Savitri,
Bye, Anu.
yeah, Savitri,
And
before
yeah,
you go,
I will
yeah,
also move
before you
backstage,
go, just
but
one point I
yeah,
wanted to share is
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
Bolo.
see, yeah, see, look at Madhuri, Maharani's this thing. She says, we would love to see your painting, Madhuri ji. Meena ji's Shiva painting behind her is my absolute favorite. Now, I just want to tell you a small incident before you ladies disappear.
Yeah.
See, a big basket guy had come to my house, to deliver stuff. So now, as usual, I just asked him to place it on the window. And then I was about to go to my work. And then he said, "Oh my God, so many paintings." And from coming from a young boy who's more like a delivery guy, I turned around and I said, "Oh, thank you." And then he said, and there was my Shiva painting, the same painting, it was there. And he said, did where did you get this from? So I said, well, I did it. So he said, I can't believe it. I mean, I have seen Shivas all around, but not this kind of painting. So I said, thank you. I said, then he said, no, no, ma'am, I'm very serious. I'm a Shiva Bhakt. So I said, yes, I'm also one. So he said, my whole family is or Shiva Bhakts. So then he said, I said, making out from his accent, I said, are you from Bangladesh? So he said, yeah, I'm from the, border, inside Bengal, not Bangladesh. So I said, oh, and then he said, I don't know what to say, and he forgot all about his job, whether to keep the things there, and he just went on and on about Shiva, Lord Shiva, you know. And this is, something very strange about it, Mayur, is that see, when I did that painting, I wanted to do a lot more Shivas because when Ned asked me, like, why are you doing so many Shivas? So I said, I want to spread the word that more people see Lord Shiva, and get that aura, and the vibrations that comes with it. So I hope the message can go far and wide. So luckily, and a few days later, a friend of mine also wanted a painting, of Shiva. And then this boy said it. And then this boy said, ma'am, after 5 months, I'm going back to my state and I want to order one. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, he doesn't have the money to
wow.
buy it. And then he said, so I said, this is expensive, but I could always, do one for you. So he said, so how much would this cost? I told him the cost. And I said, he said, no, no, ma'am, I have 5 months. Okay. So I will phone you before I go and I will take Shiva back with me. So this is
Wow.
just something for you. It's not me. Again, see, it's not me. It's Lord Shiva. His
Yeah.
aura. See, even
His
in a
aura,
car
right?
that has a Shiva linga inside it, you will
Yeah.
see a cobra, inside. There's so many videos of that. So there's something about Lord Shiva that's all inclusive. He wants us all to become one, if only we
Uh,
realize.
yeah. But Meena, here, see, it is your bhakti with Shiva. That's probably, attracted him more.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, that's also वो भी है. He
yeah,
felt because there's lot of, where purity around at that aura, he was attracted. Otherwise, you have so many paintings everywhere. No, not
yeah,
everyone
exactly.
gets attracted.
Exactly. He was
Exactly.
only attracted to
You're
this one.
blessed. Om Namah Shivaya. God bless us all.
We need it for
Bye.
Mayur.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah,
and
of course.
strong and
So,
loud.
Meena, that was very powerful. And in fact, your intention when you painted
Yeah,
to,
the message.
that
Yes.
the message, and that's just going out. Before I go backstage, I'd just like to say, Mayur, you talked about it being more important to be nice. And I really wish, as an educator, I really want to share that as society, let us relook whom we celebrate. Let
Yeah,
us relook whom we call heroes, whom we see as successful, because a lot of children are getting lost in this race for 100%. The news is full about I've known students who are no more, who took their lives because they lost out on college admissions by
yeah,
0.1%. I've lost 3 students. So it's heartbreaking. So just as an educator, as a parent, as a citizen, and Meena is also, she always talks about this. Let us relook whom we call celebrities. What is success? If we can talk to our children about that, so that they're just a little
Yeah.
more on stronger ground when they step out into the world. That's all
I
that
can
I
only
wanted
say,
to share.
please stay where you are, Anuradha. Just let me add some value to your point. Is somewhere I feel parents become the biggest bullies to their
Yeah.
children. It's so
Indeed.
sad. They don't realize they're bullying the children because they are dominating the children. What is bullying? Is when you're telling somebody this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you bully means what? Is you make the other person submissive and you become aggressive. That's when the
Yes.
parents are going to do that. That's what leads to suicides, right? Because he's done so well, why aren't you? And there are so many, my god, instances that I know of where parents have pushed the kids towards getting uh, a nervous breakdown,
Yeah.
getting depressed, getting into drugs, because they have to find some outlet. And the biggest bully, and which stems out of envy, which is the main topic of today, Meena, is envy. So if parents are not able to, curtail their envy, which turns into jealousy, it makes them into, not all, but it makes parents reach a point where they want to dominate. They will decide the future of the kids. Isn't that bullying? Isn't that bullying?
Absolutely.
That you need to be an engineer because my colleague's son is getting into engineering. How can you do that? Do you even spend time? I'm sorry, but I have to say this to you. I told one participant in a training program that, you know what, you're doing very well in your life. You got two lovely kids. When was the last time you hugged your son and gave him a wet kiss on the cheeks and said, "I love you so much"? And he was so embarrassed, he didn't know what to say. Because he was like, "Wet kiss?" I said, "Yes." Give him a putsch kiss.
Yeah.
Like, that's love. Give him the love. Give him a hug. Because my Aryan hugs me. When my Aryan, who's 5 feet 11, hugs me, I feel my backbone is going to crack. But I love it. My 5 feet 11, 15-year-old son hugs me tight and says, "I love you, Anu." I feel I've done my bit.
Yeah.
My life is done. My daughter is my daughter. No, she's my soul. No? But father son is very important.
Yeah.
I am cultivating that. So I believe envy for the fact that some others are doing well. My son should do well as well. That's where the bullying happens. So bullying is, bullying between
Absolutely.
kids in school is
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
but
Mayur,
bullying of a
I just
parent to
wanted
the
to make
kid
a
is the
point.
worst. Yeah,
Mayur, I just wanted to make a point here. See, when I was in Dubai, the parents there were in such a hurry to send their children to Canada or to USA for higher studies, and there was this mad scramble, everybody taking these exams and all that. I was very cool because I let my son do whatever he wanted. Okay. I came back to India and he's with us. Okay. All these people who have sent their children are completely disconnected.
yeah,
They are there with their families. Parents are here. They'll come once in a blue moon. Okay. Some don't even know, how the granddaughter or grandson looks. Okay. I
Absolutely.
prefer it this way. I don't want to push my children. Okay. Let them do what they like, and let them also realize that the most important thing in life is love.
yeah,
Without love, there's
absolutely,
nothing.
absolutely.
Most of us,
I,
yeah.
sorry, Anuradha, please continue. Sorry.
No, no, as you said rightly, as parents and even as often teachers who may not be aware, you're always praising a child for some work that he has done.
Yeah.
You've come first, excellent. You've turned in a fabulous project, excellent, but let's also start praising or just loving the person for who they are,
Absolutely.
Yes,
or even,
exactly.
and even as an educator, sometimes one needs to be a little distant. I need to praise the child for the effort, rather than just the result. So I think these are
True.
just important sharings.
You
And
know, Anuradha,
and
I
yeah,
remember, Meena, I have to tell you and to all the viewers, I remember See, I'm very chilled out, okay, because that's how my dad made me. He was to me. I remember when my kids were here in Pune. Now they've shifted to Mumbai and to a school there. But I remember my son Aryan, his uh, contemporary in school, uh, that person's parents were close to us. Okay, so they came home. The father came in with chart papers, and oh, it was a celebration of an amazing project that the father did for the son. And I was nagged beautifully by my wife, saying that you can't do this. He's doing so much for the son. And I was like, whose project is it? It's my son's project. The father, Anuradha, since you're an educator, imagine the father is
Yeah.
feeling very happy, like, a feather on his cap, that he's done a project which he's not supposed to do. And it's brilliant. I saw it. He brought it here to show it to me. And I'm a dude, yeah. I'm a guru student. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, are you trying to tell me that you're doing some great thing? Arey, tere bachche ko kuch karo. Like,
Yeah,
when the
I know.
son takes the project to the school, he will get the first prize for what the father did.
Absolutely.
And I put my foot
Absolutely.
down. I told my wife, I said, listen, I will have my son do everything. No, no, but you have to. I said, I will be there, but no, let him do it. Even if he scores less, it is his
Yeah.
accomplishment. Whereas in that other case, it's the
Absolutely.
father. And the father is telling me, you know what, Marathi में, अरे मुझे बहुत मेरा ना stress बहुत कम होता है यार. I said, तेरा नहीं है वो बच्चे का है.
Yeah, very
So
well said.
what is this? This is another bullying. You're
Yeah.
bullying a kid saying
Yes,
that tu
it
kuch mat
is.
kar, I will do it. You know what? He gets a vicarious thrill that the teacher says, "Oh, Mister, that boy, his project is 9 out of 10. Unfortunately, it's not even his project." And that's the
Absolutely.
sad
Very well
thing.
said.
That's what parents need to work out. It's okay if my son gets 4 out of 10, but at least four he earned out of his own efforts.
Yeah, the problem
That's,
is
I
for
think,
many parents, for many of us adults, our
yeah,
children's achievements are a sign of our doing well in life, you know. I think
yeah.
that's where the issue lies. So, but
I
I've
I
taken up
want
enough time and yeah,
No, that's okay. That's okay. Meena, I think Anuradha and people like you add value to to our conversations. Personally speaking, it's Meena's show, but I just want to say this, right, Meena? When
No,
some
no,
people
it's our
speak,
show.
when they add some value, it मुझे भी अच्छा लगता है यार. Otherwise, it'll be like me and Meena bullying this session.
no, but I'm
In
very
fact,
envious of both of you.
in fact, Mayur, the last few sessions we've been doing on kids' reality show, how
Yeah,
unreal they are, you know, and how parents voice their thoughts and their ambitions
Yeah,
onto the children and make them guinea pigs.
exactly.
true.
Sometimes I find I won't name programs because I don't even remember programs, but I find some of the kids are so unbelievably extraordinary that
Oh,
ये होता है क्या? Are they aliens or what? And
yeah.
sometimes they're pushed again, bullied so much because the parents want the publicity for whatever reasons. I just think that the right time, Meena, the right person will get the right thing at the right time. If not in this life, in another life. But
Absolutely.
happiness and joy, Meena, is most important. And coming back to the
Absolutely.
point where I sort of uh, my perspective is, Meena, that uh, envy. Sorry, I'm getting a call. I'm just cutting it. My point is, Meena, is that envy will only stop when spirituality enters a person's mind or his soul. When the person becomes mature enough to understand that spirituality is about respecting others and enhancing your own self. For example, for example, if I'm getting, if I'm getting more accolades and I'm getting more happiness and appreciation, and if I say that I'm great, and if somebody says you're not great, you're doing well, there's more to come. There are many others. So start improving yourself more and more. But I'm happy you're doing well. I think that is the way forward. I think envy, which helps a person to become better as a human being, It's the right envy. If that doesn't happen, it turns into jealousy.
Yeah. That's
That's where I put a comma. Beautiful session for me. I loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mayur, for adding so much value to it. And also the fact that, see, people are always interested in hearing your take on all these topics. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll come up for another session next week.
Whenever you send me a message on
Okay.
the next session, I take 3 deep breaths.
Don't give me a
Okay,
heart attack when you don't
no,
come
no,
on time.
I will only give you the attack of the session. Uh, but it's a pleasure. You know what I like about the viewers as well is they're very natural.
Yeah,
You know, the comments I see, Karthik, whoever. I
yeah,
mean, a lot of people. They're very natural. You know, and like you are very natural, and it's easy to talk. No, it's easy to express. Even if there's a disagreement, Meena, I think it's
yeah.
important to be able to share it, and there's respect as well. So I'm sure, I hope, Meena, that Meena's podcast will be the envy of everybody's eye. They will be envious of you. So on
Thank
that note,
you,
I thank you
Anuradha,
very
also.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you,
she's there.
Anuradha. Sorry you got disconnected.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mayur, so much from both the viewers and myself for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Okay. Bye bye. See
So you
you.
wanted to say something? Oh,
I wanted to conclude with a shloka as my tradition goes. So
please,
can I do
please.
that?
Yeah, please.
Om Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Sputataraya Samvidishvum Vrate Yapili Tanushu Prota Jagat Sakshini Saivahang Chadrishavastita Dridat Pradnyapi Yasyasti Chet Chandalostu Satut Vijostu Gururet Yesha Manisha Mama Om Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadev. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And good night.
Yeah, good night to all the viewers. Love you all. And until next time. Thanks, Meena, for having me over.